What is up, everybody? We are back. Happy Monday. How's it going, Joe? How you feel? Are you there?
I feel great. We made it
Listen,
through Mother's Day, and my kids
yes.
made me cry. It felt so appreciated. So grateful for that. How about you? How's your Monday? How was Mother's Day?
Oh, it was good. I chilled, I relaxed. My son got me a 60 minute massage. I said, "Thank you, Father." He knew what I needed. So I got to
That's
spend
so
time with him.
sweet.
And yeah, it was chill. I'm grateful to be a mother in this season of life. So and I'm glad that you
Yes.
you had a heartfelt Mother's Day. That's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, we are back for another episode. You ready? Are you ready
Whew.
for another episode?
Say the tea is hot. It was hot last episode.
Listen,
It
listen.
was
The
hard to sip
comments
that tea.
Listen, the comments was popping, and thank you all. We just want to say thank you all for supporting and staying tuned with us here on Tea Time with Liz and Friends. If you haven't, this is the time where you could take the moment to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You could catch up on all the tea. We are in our 5th season. That's right, 5th season, and I'm excited about it. So definitely make sure you catch up on all the tea times that we've had, from Tea Time with Liz to how we became friends. And you will see the
Yeah.
beautiful journey of all the conversations, of healings, testimonies, all the things. You can also like us here on Facebook and our Instagram, where we will keep you up to date on what is popping in the tea room. Okay, so definitely make sure that you are following us, staying connected. And Miss Joe, you have a little something going on these days. Do you want to tell the people about it?
I do. I do. I do. So I have a conference coming up, a summit coming up. It's called Woman Ascend, when we are just going to go up to where above, or elevate above wants us. I don't want to go too far into details, but I'm excited and about what God is going to do in this season in that conference, and we have some amazing guest speakers. It will be July 25th and 26th, so it's 2 days. And just make sure that you save the date. Registration opens on the 15th, which is
Listen, we will be ready to register because it is the 19th today.
this week, and because we have limited seats. So get in
Yes.
there, get in the room. You do not want to miss it.
Listen, she got some heavy hitters, so y'all come
That's all
prepared.
I
We're
got.
gonna we gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good old time. And if you have not
Yes.
yet, save the date, y'all. It is September 6th. It is going down. We are having a
Save the
live
date.
tea time
Save
party.
the date.
We are going to have our pop-up officially. So
Yes.
September 6th, stay tuned for more information. As we said last time, it is free 99, all right? Free food, free parking, free event. So just there's no
399.
excuse. There is no excuse. So just save the date. Don't plan nothing. Just come hang out with your girls and we're gonna have a good time. All right. All right, Joe. It is
Yes.
time to get
Wait.
us started into this next episode. We are going into part 2 of Shacking Up or Nah. All right. And we had a good conversations
Woo.
between ourselves, but I thought, we talked about it and we said, let's bring some couples in here. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the journey looked like for them, right? So I'm excited to have my brother, my sister, the Oats, join us here tonight to share their story, to talk about shacking up or nah. So welcome y'all to Tea Time with Kids and
We made
Friends.
it.
What's going on now?
How are you all tonight?
We're great.
Welcome.
Fantastic.
You.
Thank you.
Good. Well, tell the people a little bit about yourselves. Who are you? Where you from? All the
Mondays
things.
do that to us.
Okay, that's me. Got it.
Right.
Well, we have been married since 2022, January 29th of 2022. Yes.
All right.
Okay, I
Come
got it.
on.
Great.
Come on, Twin Sue. Yes.
We are from San Diego, California. Shout
Come
out to
on,
the West
Kelly.
Coast.
Shout out.
We
All right.
I'm coming.
This
I'm
is your West
coming.
Coast family.
Couple,
So the West
couple
Coast
weeks. I'm coming to the West
family.
Coast.
We
I can't
currently
wait.
both
All right. You've been talking.
All right. We looking forward to seeing you.
Yes.
We we both currently serve in ministry together at Shiloh Temple Apostolic Church, and my husband serves with the IPYPU. So there's that.
Yes.
Would you like to say something, babe?
I mean, listen. I'm Isaac.
I'm Jamie.
We have been, like I said, she spoke highly. Already gave me a lot of information about me. But yes, we have been married. This is our 4th year. We just celebrated 3 years at the beginning of the year. Our story is beautiful and long. I don't know if we have enough time in these episodes.
It's all right.
I wouldn't be the man I am if I wasn't for this beautiful young lady. She definitely taught me a lot and helped me grow a lot through this process. And hopefully we can help other people, even as we kind of talk through these areas. So yeah,
good job, babe. Thank you for that. That was
I love it. Look at the black love. I just love it. Okay, we're not gonna cry tonight. Okay, well we might. All right, this is beautiful. Well, welcome once again to Tea Time with Liz and Friends, and we are excited to have you all here tonight. So we're gonna get into it. So I hope you're ready. All right, y'all already know. Tag a friend, let them know. Get your teacups, whatever you gotta get, because we're gonna get into it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, as we know,
and
title,
sip slowly.
Okay, that part. We do take breaks. We do take breaks.
We're ready for you.
So, as we have titled this episode or this month, Shacking Up or Nah, what does shacking up mean to you?
Shacking up. Come on.
Shacking up.
I can't stop that. Shacking.
All right. This sorry in advance.
It's all good.
No, it's a term I'm used to hearing. My father's older, so I'm used to hearing it, so I get it.
You're hearing it, yes.
Right. For us, for me, should I say? I think it's anything premarital, sexual contact, sexual relations. Pretty basic, pretty simple in that capacity. I see the questions. I know we're reeling down, so we won't hit all of them, but
okay.
It's the simple, basic, easy way, should I say?
You play in house.
Yeah.
But your house is in the home of the shack.
Listen, Jamie gonna come correct. She said,
"Come on, mother." All right. Come on, mother.
All right, and I like that playing house. You know, we was all professional last time, Joe. But I like it playing house. But yes, that was pretty much what we came up with. Now the big question is it biblical?
No, and unfortunately, I think within the generation that we live in, it is normalized, but it's not biblical. And I think the reason why it's normalized is because so many come from these broken homes where people decided, well, let me be in a committed marriage. Let's get married and try this thing out, but didn't have the proper tools to sustain that relationship. And so it ended in broken households. It ended in divorce. Mm-hmm. So people at this point are saying, you know what? My odds are better if I don't add a title to this. Let's just see where it goes. Let me test this out before I commit to it. And so that, unfortunately, is why people are shacking up versus making that commitment, making themselves vulnerable, and doing it the biblical way.
Listen, that's a moment right there, Joe. Go ahead. Wow, that's a lot. That's good, though.
It's
I like
where we
that.
are. That's where we are.
No, but that's real. That's real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fair.
It is.
I think it's the redefining of the.
Where do you lie on being abstinence? Well, you don't. Well, yeah.
Oh,
abstinence.
Were you guys abstinent before marriage?
We actually were. We are the unicorn.
We were both virgins, so yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we in your business.
No, come on in. Come on in.
We in it.
It's something that we shared.
Why did you?
I think we're both committed to it. I think that's something for us. We very early on in our relationship, we kind of broached those conversations, and I think that was a part of our character and our foundation. Not to say that it was easy, but it was something I think we were definitely both committed to, and that was something that we found in common.
Mhm.
So that when when one of us was weak, the other was strong, and when the other was weak, we would we,
Do
we
you
would help
feel it
hold the
easier
other
that
accountable.
that you both wanted to
Oh yeah. There was no way that that was going to work if it were just one person that was committed
that
to the abstinence journey. Like that wasn't going to work. And I think that that's why being careful who you let play with your soul is so important. Um,
Woo,
it's
okay,
so
sis.
important because I mean, we see things, and I think people date casually now more so for companionship. Is the statistically we're the loneliest generation. Like we don't have friend groups and go out and do activities, so people are looking for that companionship a lot more. And so at this point, I think people are more apt to serial date for companionship, or just play around or casually date. And unfortunately, associated with casually dating these days, and it's not everyone, right? But sex is not off the table in most cases. But for us, it
Right.
was, because I know that just growing up, and it is some of what I've taught, but it's also a lot of what I've observed, right?
Mm.
And I feel like you can learn from, you don't have to always learn from experience. You can learn from what you see. Some people are warnings. And I see girls get messed up. I see girls getting sprung out, and I'm like, I don't really want that for my life. My
That's
parents divorced
good.
at 25. And I decided that when I got married, that was going to be it,
Right.
right? That was going to be it. And so I think we both were very cautious in that. Isaac comes from a marriage. His parents just celebrated 50 years, 51 years this year.
Right.
So I knew that's what I wanted. And I knew what it would cost to have that, if that makes sense.
That's good. So how did you keep people, I don't know, this is a
that's
side
good.
question.
Oh
How
yeah,
did
go
you
ahead.
how
That's
did you
good.
keep people from pressuring you, because like you said, you got to be careful who plays with your soul. Granted, I know you're talking about dating, but in the sense of like your friendships and the people around you, sometimes people can have some type of influence of like, girl, try it out before test it real quick, because you don't want to make no mistakes. Like, how did you keep those comments out of uh out the way?
I think by the time our relationship kind of started, we were kind of in our 20s.
Mm.
I think I think by that point we had kind of built up those those hard headed muscles, those muscles of
It's
we
good.
knowing who we were to that extent.
Mm-hmm.
I think your mid teens, your high school years, your college years.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say those are the hardest times, but I'd say those were the times when your character is definitely being tested,
Mm-hmm.
where those you're still growing as an individual, and I think we were kind of at a place where we were pretty set on it. So you were.
We lost him. Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah. Did you get that?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, we got it. We got it.
Great. I completely agree. I think to add context, something else important is that we weren't just out here dating other people prior to meeting one another.
No.
So it's important to note that we didn't have the experience of being in relationships previously to get strong. So when we got serious, it was like, well, this is just what we do.
Mm,
Hmm.
that's good. That's
That's
good.
good.
Because that is true. Like a lot of times, in this dating world, there's so many definitions, right? Like you are talking, or you're dating exclusively, or you're dating with benefits, or whatever the case may be. There's so many different scenarios, rather, but it makes it easier, like you said, if you have the right person who's committed into taking this journey to marriage, right? And having that mindset to
Mhm.
say, hey, we're going to do this the right way all the way, right? And really pursue that, rather than and I agree with you, Isaac, in the sense of like those early 20s, those teen years. And so for all those teenagers out there, for all you in your early 20s, yes, your character is challenged, but you can still do it the right way. You don't have to give into the peer pressure or the curiosity
You sure
of
do.
what people are saying. You know, it can be done the right way, and you don't have to fall to experience just to have a testimony either. That's not
Right.
always a glorified situation.
Hmm.
Like, the Lord saved me from hoeing around. Like, that's not.
Right.
That's not.
Right. You chasing your
That's something you
testimony,
want to be
right?
glorifying. You know, like, we thank God He
But
healed
that don't
you.
have to be your testimony. That don't have
Saved
to
you.
be.
Right. It don't. It don't.
But
That's what you
that's
want to
not
do. Right.
Say
that's
it
not
again
what
for the
you
people
want.
in the back.
That's not what you want. So I love that you said
No.
that
That's
too.
real.
I
That's
love
real.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. So our next question, because our season is about breaking the silence. So why do you think we need to break the silence about the journey into marriage and marriage itself? Like, what do you think this
Ooh.
next generation or just people in general are facing that we are holding in silent?
You want to go first, or because we both have strong answers on this
I
one?
see it. I see it. Let it out.
I want to say we did not rehearse this.
That's all right.
We both
This is
went to
authentic.
discussion,
Right.
and
No.
we didn't
Let's
get
go.
the chance to get on one accord.
That's
But
all right. It's
I
working.
know
It's
we
flowing.
together. And you know what's funny? We have these conversations a lot about modern day relationships. So it's just, you're welcome to the conversation.
Yes, I love it.
I think there's a lot of misnomers about marriage that people have. A lot of themes about relationships and marriage in general that I've seen. I would say fear is a crazy huge theme.
Mhm.
When I speak to people, when I speak to younger people, when I speak to even older people, maybe divorcees that are happening, that are scared of new relationships, fear
Yeah.
is a huge, and they may not say it's fear off bat, but their reasoning for not going into a new relationship, or the reasons why their relationship may have broken down, or long term, I've been with someone for 10 years and hey, are you getting married? It's like, no, we're not getting married. It's like, what? Well,
What's
I'm
happening?
sorry, I didn't mean to offend. Like, that was
Right.
I'm assuming that's just a natural progress.
That's
But
the next step here, right?
yeah, no, we just in the 11th grade, no graduation. But it seems to be something that I see a lot. So, destroying those kind of fear situations and being able to encourage people, being able to tell people, hey, we can still do it. It works.
Yeah.
Happily works.
That's the thing.
Right. Happily works. And this is how you want to build your family. This is how you want to be able to set up and encourage each other. And you want a life partner for the rest of your life. Like, why wouldn't you?
I think that the other part to that is people are saying, well, I could do it my way, right? I could have a life partner, and we're just going to stay shacking up for the next however, because it's just a piece of paper. No, it's not a piece of paper. It is a covenant. It is God's blessing over your marriage and over your future. And unfortunately, I think that we're at a time where people are so disillusioned by the divorce rate, by what they've seen in church, out of church, everywhere, right? Their parents, their own lived experiences of broken homes, that they're like, if it's just a piece of paper, then I don't have to have it. But that really, to Isaac's point, is fear. And I think that the silence needs to be broken, because so many people, and this is only by the goodness of God that, we're married, right? That we found each other, that God put us together. But so many people say, wow, this can still happen. You guys are an encouragement. And I'm like, that's weird. That's weird, right?
That's real though. Yeah.
It's also kind of sad, because it's like, no, you see more devastating horror stories than success stories.
Yeah.
Right. And that is very concerning. So I think we need to amplify the voices of those people that are happily married. Right. It may not be perfect, but we're happy. Right. And this,
don't debo me. We happy. We happy.
We are happy.
And like it just, we're too quiet. We're too quiet about it.
No,
how dating actually works, or courtship, however you want to say it. So people, they want it, they don't know how to get it. So everybody's scared and afraid, and if they show interest and they're fast, or they go about it the wrong way, like I said, show interest, not sleep with them. Like there's a difference, right? And people don't know the boundary line, right?
I think that's as well. I think that's huge. like you said, I would came to mind was perfecting the process of kind of getting there. And I think that's something that, especially on this side of of faith and understanding our journeys, like that's something that we constantly struggle with. I don't care what church you go to, from here to Israel, like the process of dating and getting to marriage is not quite perfected or not quite explained. Sometimes it's a moving target at times. So getting there and being able to build up people, and I think that's something that scares people as well. Is, hey, well, there's no perfect process. Well, great. So how are we going to make it if there's no perfect process?
You're gonna get hurt. Right. Like, that's part of the journey. Because you're gonna get hurt. Like, you're gonna mess up. Things are not going to be perfect, but it's worth kind of the stages of growth that you have to go through to get to that goal. It's worth the stages of development, right?
I love it. I love that. And you, so I do have
my daughter.
Go ahead, Joe.
My daughter, my middle daughter, just recently is getting married. So I been telling them there's no happily ever after. There's no happily ever after. You will argue, you will fight. You just need to learn how to make it work together.
Right.
I agree with you 100%.
No, that's real. I love that you guys said that. Like, respect the process of the dating, cycle, like, to get to the marriage. So I asked this question now for you two. Like, how long did you date before getting engaged?
Listen, now you knew why you asked this question. Don't play with me. Okay.
The official answer.
Okay, you can give me the official answer. That's fine.
The official
this is on the record. No, just kidding.
Answer.
Wait, let's see if it's the same.
2 years. Officially, it's 2 years.
Okay.
The journey
engaged for one. Okay, that's fair.
Is
there were lots of ups and downs, right? There was a lot of growth.
In total, right?
7, 8, 9, 7. Yeah, 7.
Okay, all right.
13. I have to do the math on that, but it was a long journey.
It was 7 solid.
We'll circle back to that. It's fine.
Okay. 7 is God's complete number. It was 7.
Okay, but it's not my chosen number. Here's the thing. Scott had some maturing to do. So did Bro. Okay, we both had some growing to do before we moved forward.
Right.
And it would have been.
Oof.
Right, it would have been. Right, because, so I want to be very careful with the words that I use, because I know it's a trendy word to say, toxic, right? It would have been toxic had we been together from the inception of our fondness, I guess you want to call it. Like, it wouldn't have been good. And so we had to go through the process of development and growth. It was ugly. There were some on again, off again. What is this? Trying to figure out, are we together? Are we not together? What are you doing? Are you ready? Are you not ready? Do you want me? Do you not want me? But I'll say, through all of that growth and development, we finally both came to the point where we realized we're ready to move forward, and we know what that means. And now we are together. We were not together before. Now we are together. So, yeah.
So it wasn't like a married, like, you didn't know, like, right away. You had to take some journey and some growing along this dating journey. It wasn't like marriage at first sight type of situation.
You can answer this. I'm gonna see how you answer. Go ahead. Let's see what you got.
What was it, brother? What was it?
What was it, brother?
Oh Lord, I would say it like this. I knew.
I tell the truth. Shame to
I would.
Okay.
I think I've been blessed in my life to be raised by incredible women. I have 4 sisters. My mother, like I said, my parents have been married for a half a century. So I've been able to see incredible women with great character, and my wife had all of those characteristics very early on. I saw that very early on. I saw that. Now, in my youth, I was not prepared to take the steps, and I wasn't prepared to make that commitment. And I think that was a struggle, even for me, very much early on. And I think that put a burden on our relationship early on. And I don't think I was prepared to be a husband. I wasn't prepared to be a covering. I wasn't prepared to um, be a grown man to a woman quite yet. And I think that was actually something that tested our relationship very early on. For a long time, I was probably non-committal in those areas, and which is areas that we've had these conversations in retrospect for sure. And did she have maturing to do? Sure, in some areas, I'm absolutely, but
yes, I did.
But for myself, it's always being accountable, which is essential. Being able to tell gentlemen, hey, if you're not ready, don't. I think we made in our relationship where, like you said, there was some back and forth. There was some non-committal. What is this? You know, that question is going to pop up. You know, after a certain amount of time, and it's going to happen. Like it's going to happen. What is this? It's like we've been out for 2 days.
Listen, we want to know. We want to know.
Out here. I got a shelf life. Don't have me out here, okay?
Right, but that's true. That's right. That's true. But so I think I would say, and I think we agree for our relationship, it all kind of turned around when I came to myself was the prodigal son. I came to myself, but I matured up and I was prepared to make those steps. And from that point on, our ascension, our ascension was very, very quickly, very rapid, and we moved pretty fast. I think we grew very, very quickly. So, yeah.
Well, first I want to.
How long do you think it?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
How long do you think it took you to come to that realization?
Took the words out of my mouth. Go ahead.
Go ahead. This is good. This y'all asking good.
Listen,
Oh,
we just want to know. We just curious.
I would say, how long did it take me to come to that realization? I think this was probably year 5 at the end for us. Now, there is let me clear some nonsense up.
Okay.
I was very, very, very non-committal and not really prepared and should not have been trying to court anybody or date anybody. So that's on my end. And that is something that as a man, and I would tell young men, hey, if you're having these situationships, especially if they're long-term, there shouldn't be any relationships. Let me clear that.
Okay.
We're on this side of grace and mercy. No,
we're about to ask another question. No, just kidding.
Right.
Oh, here.
There shouldn't be any situationships. But if you're entertaining someone in your life, let's not string them along. Let's be intentional with the way that we're moving. And if you're not ready to be intentional, then you shouldn't be in a relationship.
Right.
We're not kids. We're not in high school. Let's not playing around with it. Just people's emotions and people's time are important. Okay. And how you invest in them is important. So let's stop playing with that. And once you approach it from that level of seriousness and that level of maturity, then I think you meet someone in your same wavelength. And if you know what to look for and you're ready for that, then you guys can be productive together and have that level of commitment.
Did all the men hear that out there? Play that. We're gonna rewind this and play this over and over again. I'm joking. I got a quick question for you, Jay.
So good to hear.
Brother Isaac said. Now, Jamie, I have a question for you. So, he was open and honest about, his immaturity, in certain stages. Was that ever like a red flag for you? Like that, hey, I'm not even going to let him back in. And how did you let him back in, after him not being mature enough?
Okay. So I know there's like probably a lot of questions in the comment section about like what was happening, because what was going on. I would never. Because girl, why would you ever? Right? All these things.
Right. That's how we be, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because if I saw the situation, I would have been like, girl, now go, move along, right?
Right.
But on my side, just like he owned his, I had to own mine, right? So the things that I think as women, we sometimes are not honest about. And this is not to excuse his behavior, because he had growth that he needed to do, but I also had growth that I needed to do. And I think that a huge part of that growth and development is owning where I'm broken. And I remember I had a conversation with a young lady quite some time ago, and they were asking me, like, hey, Sister Jamie, like, they told me some really in-depth stuff. And they're like, hey, Sister Jamie, are all women broken? And I said, well, all women experience brokenness to some degree, but it's their responsibility to fix it, right? Like, you have to own that and you have to fix it.
Listen.
And it was a lot of work. And so I had to, part of my coming of age as a woman was to understand the places that I was broken, because I was determined not to pass that brokenness along. And so, long story short, he was dealing with his stuff, but I was also dealing with my stuff that caused me to be attracted to the broken parts of him.
Wow.
Right. And so I had to understand that, okay, what in me is drawn to someone who is not ready for me? What in me is drawn that feels like I have to have this person who is indecisive concerning me? Wow. And the beautiful thing about God, because this is not like the ideal, this is not the wouldn't recommend, right? Wouldn't recommend.
No, that's
recommend.
Real, though. It's
God
real.
is just good, and he worked it out. We healed about the same time. And I mean, by healing, I was not only on my face at the altar, I was in therapy, right? I had things from my childhood that made me have that rejection and that abandonment and that low value self-esteem that I had to rectify, right? And so, as God would have it, we healed round about the same time. And I feel almost as though both of our eyes were open, like, wow, like, this is who you really are.
Awesome.
This is who I really am, right?
Yeah.
And so it's not that I would recommend someone stick around for that amount of time, but I will say that as you go through your healing journey, be very open to what God decides to do.
That's good. I love that. Go ahead.
Add very quickly. We didn't introduce any other people into
that's a big part. We were not.
We didn't.
Okay.
Even though, granted, there was that period, but we weren't.
Don't get it twisted, but we didn't entertain it.
We weren't entertaining anybody else.
That's good, babe.
It wasn't a trifecta.
It wasn't.
It wasn't that situation.
Right.
So there was nobody on the outside, no additional baggage, because although we weren't ready for one another, I think deep down inside we knew what we wanted. And nothing else would kind of fill that, if that made sense.
That's real.
So
I love that. I love that. So who made the first move, like, to coming back and reuniting? Like,
coming back. Oh, okay.
He said coming back. He said, well, the first move was.
First move. I said the first move. I was like,
we're not going back there. It's okay. We're not going back there.
We're not talking about the broken places.
That's another podcast, babe. That's not what she has. Distracted.
Come on, Lord. It's all right. I just wanted the fellas to know.
I love it.
First move back. I would say me. I made the first move back. I think it was, like I said, when I was ready and mature and say, hey, this is what we're doing seriously. Now, granted, it was accompanied by some frustration and some seriousness. And I had to really come to myself and say, hey, you're about to lose this young lady. You're about to lose this jewel. Is that something that you could live with for the rest of your life?
Wow.
The Saints, it was a close call. It was a close call.
And
it was close.
That's a question I had to ask myself in that growth process.
Wow.
So, hey, is that something that you're ready to do? You're ready to be on Instagram or Facebook and, you see her, married up to some other dude, because it was going to happen. If I didn't get it, somebody else is going to see a jewel if you see it as well. So, that was going to happen. So I think I made the first move back and was able to steer from there.
I think that's the other important thing, if I may. I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
This is tea, okay? I'm going to be honest. I'm going to own this. earlier on in the situationship, it was completely misaligned because I was the one that was trying to lead it. I was pushing. I was like, well, what are we? Well, what do you want to do? Well, what is this? What is that? Right. And I think that the beauty of it is when it became what it needed to become, he was the one driving it. It wasn't me. He was the one pursuing me. I wasn't pursuing, he was pursuing me. And I think that allowed him, me being able to be healed and falling back a bit, allowed him to like take his place and like leave the relationship the way it should go.
That's beautiful. I love it. He took his manly place, and I love that. I love that. Thank y'all for being so transparent tonight. Like this is real tea though. This is real
Whatever you
tea.
want to know, that's
And
fine.
and you never know what, like you said, you never know what the Lord's plan is um for us, right? But it does matter to be a whole, like completely whole person. So that you're not attracting the toxicness, because who we, Lord, we've been down that road. We talked about that last week. So tune into the last week's episode. But
Last week was good.
listen, Joe, what you got for the people?
You
Listen,
gotta go
I gotta go
you
back.
gotta go back, girl. You gotta go back and listen.
So, do you think that shacking up delays marriage?
Absolutely, 110%. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Because you've become comfortable in your world. It's so easy to become, and we've seen it happen. Like personally, we've seen it happen. People become very comfortable in their little world that they've created. You know, they end up with the children. Now the children are delaying things because now we got to think about the kids. You know, now we got to think about the bills, and now we're working extra hours because we have this household that we have to manage, and all of the mystery is gone. And then, do I really like you? This is kind of because even in marriage, after you're married for a certain amount of time, there's a lull because things become normal. Like, well, and it's just going to happen, right?
Yeah, right.
To get to know each other. There's not always high times, but when you're not married and you're going through that lull, it's so easy to be like, well, I'm out. I don't need this. And then what? You know what I mean? And so you're not equipped to go through the struggles of marriage without being married. And that's why shacking up delays marriage.
Wow.
I agree. I'd say probably.
That's good. That was good.
Yeah, I think it it becomes less of a priority.
Yeah.
I think in the simplest way. I don't even know if it's necessarily intentional. I'm sure for some people it is intentional. They're actually, no, I really don't want to commit to it, so we're just going to do what we want to do. But and in the grander scheme, I think it just lowers the priority of it. It kind of as desensitizes you to a way. In a way, say, well, okay, well, I'm going to relent here in this case. So all of a sudden, you know, you get comfortable, like she said, and what else? You know, what else starts moving? We start moving the line a little bit, and it is a comfort that level of connection.
Yeah,
opens you up to different things. You start opening up those doors to different areas, and all of a sudden, you look back over a period of time, and you're trying to figure out, well, where do we go? And now all of a sudden we're trying to redefine again, hey, what my expectation is.
Right.
Well, what I want a marriage. Well, we're already playing house. So we already playing house. So what's the hustle? Like, what do I gotta do? I got bills in my name here. I'm getting my mail and everything.
Absolutely.
So like you said, what do I need to get this paper? Well,
right.
You start kind of playing the game. And like I said, in most cases, to me, it's just fear. People are afraid. They don't want to make that step. And they may not say it, but they give you any other excuse. And we know what fear looks like. We know what fear sounds like.
Right.
And it sounds like excuses.
And I just want to say something on that, like, because I think that we're talking from our lived experience, right? We don't have that lived experience. We can't speak to that. So I want to be very careful. But what I also want to do is not demonize the people who are shacking up. I want to offer hope. Because I think that, unfortunately, and it's a real thing, because everybody doesn't have context for a healthy relationship or a healthy marriage, right?
Absolutely.
And so people do the best they can with what they have, right? It's enough for me to be in a monogamous, committed relationship, and I'm really trying to see if this works and build a life with somebody. But I just want to offer hope that there is a better way. You don't have to give of yourself prematurely.
Right.
Because if you keep giving of yourself to these different places, you won't have anything else to hold on to.
Listen.
And I think it's so sad because that contributes to the broken dating culture that we have in society.
Yeah.
People have given so much of themselves to so many different people in hopes of finding true love and a marriage and this fairy tale ending. I just want to encourage someone, it's possible for you to experience love without giving up everything you have.
Come
You have to back
on.
up.
That's good. That's really good.
Listen.
It's
amazing.
depressing.
really
It's
good.
sad. It doesn't have to be that way though. And people, that's going back to your question earlier. Why do we need to be so vocal about the journey to marriage and marriage is because of this. People don't see it. They see your clickbait phrases on social media. You got your red pill society, you got your trad wife, you got your this, you got your that, but they don't see like the real raw journey to marriage.
Right.
And they don't see the investment and the vulnerability that has to go along with it for it to be successful.
Yes.
And then if they do, demonize as being, oh, you a simp. Oh, you out here just falling for anybody. Oh, you giving too much. Girl, I wouldn't invest that much. You don't know. You know, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Come on. Y'all is talking tonight. Lord Jesus. Listen. There's a love offering coming. I mean, Lord, this is good. This is good. But
it's
I want to talk
time in the temple.
Listen, at the temple of tea time, okay? So, you know, we've been talking a lot about like, you know, the shacking up part, but you know, both being believers in God and raised up as believers and such, we also heard this. It's better to marry than to burn. Right. So how did you know, and you guys talked about your dating process. So is it better to marry than to burn? Or how do you respect the dating process and, you know, whether it takes a year, 2 years, and not try to rush so you don't burn? What you thought?
That scripture's been taken so much out of context,
right?
Way out of context.
Come on and help the people.
We took over the self-control portion that's a fruit of the spirit. So we automatically think like, well, I'm just gonna burn. Like, nah, there's some self-control that you're supposed to learn up in there somewhere, right?
Okay.
Like, you still have some responsibility.
Right.
And was better than married than to burn because unfortunately, so here's the deal. Not in every church. Just saying in general, okay? But nobody is good. I love my pastors. But in general, the church culture doesn't do the greatest job of teaching what the courtship process looks like and how to safely do that. And so the easy route is to twist and manipulate the word of God to say, well, here is my advice. It's better to marry than to burn. So if I get you married off, you're not fornicating, right? You're just, you know, you're having all the sex you want. We're grown. You're not fornicating, but they don't teach you to respect that process. They don't teach you how to manage. Because if you don't have self-control before you get married, guess what you're going to do? You're just going to keep having sex with different people.
Listen, just going out here. Just going out. Listen.
Right. And I don't think if we're just speaking about, let's say that one scripture, is your goal to be successfully married? Is your goal not to burn? Like it's two different perspectives.
That's good.
Come on.
No, great. So we're not burning no more, but we broke because neither one of us have financial. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you if you had a job.
We burning. Our pockets are.
Yeah, we mad and we fighting, right? So
we don't know how to talk to each other.
Correct.
We don't know how to
That too.
So there's so many different things in regards to a successful marriage, and that's why for us, I think that's something that was so essential for us. Marriage was always the goal. Was always the goal. If when I talk to people or I talk to young men, talk to young ladies, and they're thinking about entertaining someone, I always ask, hey, what's your goal? Is marriage the goal? Then that's going to be able to steer how this process is going to go for you. Now, I look through this lens of, hey, is this something a characteristic that you would like your wife to have? Is this a characteristic that you want your husband to have? If that's a no, then why are we wasting time right now?
What are we doing?
Yeah. Right. What are we doing? Like, this is not my wife, so let's stop playing around with it. Let's not be so casual with emotion and time. Those are two things we don't get back. We don't get time back, so let's not waste it.
Right. That's good, man.
I love that. I love that.
That was really
Don't
good.
waste nobody's time out here.
Ain't
Come
nobody,
on.
Mm-mm.
Come on.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
ain't nobody got that bad. There you go.
This is the five, right? This is the 5-year guy, by the way.
Right.
I learned.
Learn from our experience. Don't do as we
Don't
did.
do it.
Don't do it.
That part.
There's
That
a better
part.
way.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, yes, yes. So, when is it too much for you? Like, how do you have the conversation about, like, when you were dating? Like, all right, it's starting to be too much. We getting too
Yeah,
close
many
here.
conversations. We had many conversations, actually.
I think when is it? When is it too much? I think that's kind of that made me think a little bit. I think that moves from person to person.
Okay.
Personally speaking,
Real.
I think that moves from certain person. Some part, you might rub somebody's kneecap and those sisters.
Ooh, don't do that.
Lord,
Listen.
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 All I did was rub your
Let's see
shoulder.
kneecap there.
Not my kneecaps. No.
The kneecaps are off limits.
They got you hot and bothered. Like, you're all out. I think that's person to person.
I love it.
I think that's from person to person, but in general,
sure.
I would say it's a comfort thing. Whenever whenever you start to cross lines, whenever you start to bring in question, whenever we start, hey, we're getting there. We need to chill out and be honest with each other, with one another, and be honest with yourself. And again, sometimes it may not be you that has to be strong. Maybe it's your loved one that on the other side it says, "Hey, all right, well, all right, chill out, chill out.
Enough.
Let's go outside. Let's let's
We'll
go to the park. Let's go. You need to go home. Like one of the
Right.
somebody's got to be honest. So when is it? I think it moves from person to person, but in general, when we start to kind of cross those lines of what we really want to achieve, I guess we could say.
I would say two things to that. One, it depends on if you have the Holy Ghost or not. I think that's a great indicator. Your Holy Ghost will tell you that's a no. Don't go that way.
All the
right?
spirituals. I need to get my life
It's
together.
called balance. It's called balance.
Come on with all of it. I need to read more.
But I think God will do a really great job of informing you, hey, that's a red zone, right? And to his point, like your red zone may not look like somebody else's. Oftentimes I use the analogy, there's guardrails and then there's a cliff. A guardrail comes way before the cliff, right? It's there to keep you from being in the danger zone. It's not necessarily the cliff, right? It's not inherently wrong, but if you cross that guardrail, you're probably going to go off that cliff. It's so much easier to just fall off that cliff, right? Because that's private ground. The other thing I'd say is common sense, right? You don't need the Holy Ghost to have common sense. Common sense, like it's dark. He's over at your house. You live alone. You know how you're feeling. I don't think that's the wisest thing to do. And we had to have those conversations, like this is probably not beneficial. This is not wise. But people, I think the other thing is being real with yourself to his point. Like we just think we're so strong. We just think we're so saved.
Listen, so saved.
Fine. I'm have those
dripping in oil, huh?
You're good. No, sis, you're still wrapped in flesh. You're a dirt body. Like
and don't demonize it. Like I think we over spiritualize it and demonize it. How about this? I'm attracted to you. You attracted to me. It's 9.
We're human. We're human.
Let's not make it so difficult. There wasn't no Netflix back in biblical times. We not out here. Like, let's just stop playing around. I'm right. Like we like to be together. Like let's not play games. Like
there was some temp visits back in the day. Come on, right?
Certain movements and touches and manner not wise.
Right.
Certain things that you wear on dates not wise. Not wise, sis. You know what that's going to elicit. Right. Certain things that he does not wise, bro. Not wise. That's not wise. So yeah.
Were there ever times that you were like offended, or like caught off guard when one was like, "No, don't. We can't. We're going too
Angry.
far." Like angry,
Frustrated.
frustrated. Yeah, that's real. That's real.
Like,
That's
keep it a
real.
buck, frustrated, not angry
Yeah.
because we knew better, but
Yeah.
like frustrated. Like, for real, is this what you gonna do? This what you gonna do today? Like,
Hey, quit playing. All right, come on.
don't
Let's
play
go
with
home.
me.
Let's go
Like,
home.
but yeah,
That's real though. Because I think that's part of it, like being honest in a relationship, and I think that's a test in itself, right?
Mhm.
Like if you can't be honest in this vulnerable state, there's gonna be a problem, and really be honest about it, right? So I love that you were able to respect one another in those areas, and just even the wisdom that you shared with that. Um, it's valid, just yourself, okay? If you know the kneecaps, as he said, if the kneecaps is touching
no.
you, if that's your spot, listen,
Kneecap.
sir, hands above the knees.
All right.
Right.
Listen, if the elbow is
Wait
just
a
if your
minute
side
now. Below
Rest
listen,
my
the
elbows.
knees,
Don't
Liz.
do that.
Below the knees.
listen, we don't want none of that, right? You just being honest with yourself, and that's okay. Like you said, we are human. Like we are created to multiply, right?
Yep.
Be fruitful and multiply eventually, but in the right way. So
Mhm.
it's not a tendency that God has given us to kill. It's just
Right.
it has its rightful place, right?
Yeah.
And you just have to follow that process. So um, it is what it is. All right. So, but be honest. I love it. I love it. Be honest. I love that. We talked about this a little earlier too, but do you feel like people today use the dependency in relationships as a way of survival? So, we were talking about how like people will play house or, shack up to test out, all the things. But do you really think like they're using it as a way of like, I can survive? We got nice cars, we got a nice home, we're both happy. So why throw this paper in the middle of this good thing that we got going on? Also, like, is it okay for a man to be paying their girlfriend's bills and
Ooh, you
That's
vice
a
know
good
what?
versa?
question. Like,
All the things.
What?
Hmm.
Tell us what's your thoughts on this
That
before
might
we
be a
we
whole
close.
different show right
That is a
there.
whole, you know what? We had those conversations too.
well,
I-
also to that, I would say before you answer that question,
Go
because I
ahead,
don't know
go
where you're
ahead.
headed. Is it right for a girlfriend to be cooking and cleaning for her boyfriend then if
That
that's the case?
too. Come on, talk about
So
it. Is it?
the men may
Is
pay
it?
the bills, but am I making you lunch? Am I making you dinner every week? What am I like? So
Listen,
instead,
fellas.
I want to know what you like to say now.
Listen,
Talk to us. Talk.
Talk to us.
we don't live. No, I'm saying now. I would say that is important. Okay, let me retro and let me bounce back. I would say to your leading question, I didn't take that question as dependency necessarily as literally fiscally responsible as of, hey, let's put our finances together, which I'm sure happens.
Yeah.
I would say, in regards to sex and shacking up and all those things, I think people weaponize sex and actually use it as a cover for emotional instability,
Oh
or
wow.
that's something that they're used to connecting it with the next phase of a relationship and success.
Wow,
To me,
that's good.
I see when I hear dependency, that's something that people just assume. Hey, oh well,
Yeah.
I meet you, I like you, we having sex, and we go from there. That's the
Like that's the
bare minimum.
confirmation that
That's
we're
what we doing,
together
right?
is we're
Yeah.
having sex.
So
Is that what you're
that's
saying?
kind of what when you actually sent that as a dependent, that's kind of what I gauged from
That's
it.
good though. Because it becomes like a soul tie. The
Correct.
relationship is toxic, but we have a good time with these benefits. So we gonna stay here,
Right.
and do this thing. And that's true. A lot of times people will just do that just to have that person and know that hey, I ain't gotta worry about getting nothing. So here we go.
I think also we live in Southern California, right? It's really expensive out here. So for someone to say like, "Oh no, I'm moving in with my boyfriend," Like, that's not unheard of. I know in certain parts of the country, it's like, well, very much so. Where is the ring? For Southern California, where rent is sky high, people are like, no, I'm moving in with my boyfriend. No, I'm moving in with we're going to live together and make this thing work. And I think that, unfortunately, like, that is not the answer, right? We know that that's not the answer. People do use it, and then they become so intertwined, they become stuck, and ends up unhoused when the relationship goes left. They put all their eggs in the basket. And, paying my bills now. I don't have any utilities in my name, right? So
playing house. You said end up playing house.
I mean, and that's the toxicness of it all, right? Like you're
on that cycle.
You're damaging yourself in the future if this don't work out. You're homeless. You ain't got no credit. None of it.
I came from my credit, Jesus.
But
yeah, I think the second part of your question, which my lovely wife alluded to, which is, hey, what is your expectations in dating? I guess you were referring to paying bills. I think was Jonisha said. I personally would not be paying a girlfriend's bill. I'll pay my wife's bill if we need our bills.
I think that's fair.
But I think that's fair. And I don't necessarily think your girlfriend should be giving you wife behavior in that capacity either. I also
think that's fair.
I think there's a healthy mix when we're coming to the two. As a male, I should be able to provide those things or show those characteristics as a male. Say, hey, I'm giving you husband characteristics. That doesn't mean I'm you on my
doing husband.
Right, you ain't on my health insurance. Like, what we doing?
Okay.
And as a wife, you need to be able to show yourself, hey, I'm a valid spouse. I'm someone who can be nurturing. I'm someone who can be a calming presence over your life. I'm someone that can encourage you and speak and sow into you and help you be the best that you have ever been. So we're talking about those as a fundamental base, but a lot of people are expecting like literal things. Like, I don't know. I love my wife. If she had ever expected me to pay a bill while we were dating, that's a red flag for me. It's like, first of all, you don't have.
Even how about like even gifting things, and it may not be gifting things because some people demand this, right? Like hair done, nails done, those types of things. Like, do you think that's healthy?
I think you can gift somebody something. Like, you would gift me things for my birthday, like, here, go get your nails and your feet done or something like that's fine.
I think that's nice, but
it's not to be expected, right? Like, it's not like a demand, like, no, here's my maintenance fees. Like, these are my maintenance fees. You need to be able
but that's real. That's what they call it. You're right.
My maintenance. So my hair costs this. My bundles cost that. My toes cost this. And then my nails cost this. And here's the tip, right?
But then on the other end of that, then we lose
the plot.
If that's the case, then I'm sure that, and I know that happens because I've heard and seen people that's happened to. Mm-hmm. But on the other end of that, now we confused when people start expecting things out of you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, now we start playing this game. Okay, cool. So here's your fees. Now I need to expect you to be moving like a wife. So, but we haven't made that commitment. So, it's so interesting, right? So we end up dabbling in playing roles that we're actually not designed for.
That's good.
Why the movie doesn't quite come out quite right as we want it. So yeah, let's play our right roles. I'm not going to give you husband behavior or husband. Right, let's have our healthy boundaries. I'm not going to be playing your husband and we're not really making that level of commitment. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be playing my wife if you're not really my wife in my life. Well, let's do it then. Let's put this paper on it and let's make it happen.
What's the harm?
That's good. I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. So, what would be a healthy dating relationship? What would that look like? Like, what is a normal dating relationship look like in a sense then to lead to marriage? How would that look?
You can give your perspective first.
Healthy. Mm-hmm. In what sense do you mean healthy? I want to say, are we just talking about, are we going on dates? My first instinct would say intentionality.
Okay.
If I'm meeting someone and I see someone that I'm interested in,
good. That'll always
I
be okay.
think, hey, what road are we going on? Are you really ready to get married? Am I in the marrying position to do this right now?
Yeah, yeah.
If not, I shouldn't be making those type of emotional connections, spiritual connections. As a male, am I ready to leave my house? That doesn't mean I'm making the most money. That doesn't mean I am,
That's good.
this macho man, whatever, quote unquote, all of those situations. But am I ready to leave my house? Am I ready to be a covering over my wife and my children or whatnot? Those are, approaching it in a mature level. Are you ready for that phase of life or not? And if not, then you shouldn't be dating. Like if you're not ready for the goal, then we shouldn't. Let's not hop on this train.
That's real. Get out the pool.
Yeah. Get out the pool. Like, what you ain't here?
Get out the pool.
What you here?
Not a viable candidate.
I just want to get my feet out here.
That's a very mature thought to have.
Right. I think it also depends on where you are in life, because the timeline, what it looks like for someone who is in their early 20s versus their late 20s versus 30s versus 40s is going to look different. Absolutely. I think that there's room for grace to grow when you're like in your early 20s, maybe even your late 20s. Like you need to be willing to grow with someone and understand that, hey, we're both growing and developing. But if I'm in my 40s and I'm looking for a relationship that's leading somewhere, that grace is about expired in some cases, right? You should have a little something to offer. Like, yes, you're growing, but there's a different expectation. There's a different demand because we're in a different position. There might be kids involved. I can't give you grace to figure out who you are as a person at 40 and I got my kids here. Like, that's not going to work for me, right? So I think that intentionality, like Isaac said, but also I think it's so important, and this may be controversial, I don't care. It's so important to get parts of your community involved in the sense that when there's somebody that I'm interested in, what's the harm in running that by a couple of close people that you trust? What's the harm in that? What's the harm in asking, hey, what do you think about so-and-so? Do you know their character? Do you know how they, because that could cut out a lot of issues right there. The vetting process. We don't vet anymore. We just go with what we feel we need to vet. And I think from there, having, once it does become something more serious, having couples that you're accountable to is also a helpful thing. Not everybody, because you can't let everybody in your business, but having a very seasoned marriage or relationship because that's where you're going at, seasoned marriage, that you're able to ask questions to, be accountable to, open up to is also helpful. And then also setting clear boundaries ahead of time. Like, listen, I am looking for a spouse.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yep. And if you're not looking for a spouse, then this is probably not the way that I want to go.
Right.
That's good. Come on and help the people with the dating life. He said, get out the pool, though. If you ain't ready, get out the pool. Okay.
The other thing, and I think the underlining thing is time. I think that's kind of been the underlining theme of one of the underlining themes that we've kind of been talking about is time.
Yeah, for sure.
But on the other end of it, I would say be patient in that process as well.
Yeah, that's also true.
Be patient.
Absolutely.
Even though I think people being intentional sometimes scares other partners away.
Sounds
sometimes you come
immediate.
in like, oh, you're trying to get married tomorrow? Like, no. I'm not trying to get married tomorrow. But I do have a plan that we want to have for our life. And hey, maybe not 6 months. Hey, maybe it's a year and a half. Maybe it's 2 years. Hey, we're 22, we're 25. Okay, I would like to be married by the time I'm 28, 27, one of the two. Okay, so let's make sure that we're making those steps and we're intentional with making those moves. And it doesn't we're not being so scary all the time, but at the same time we're not on the freeway trying to make things happen today. Ourselves and our future spouse grace to grow, because it's a different process. It's a different mentality being in a relationship.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden, you might be an only child, and all of a sudden you're not used to sharing your time and space with someone. All of a sudden, you have someone in your that wants all of your time and all of your space.
No, that's real.
And you may, that may be something. And a relationship perfects you and all of the greatest points, and brings out some of the
worst,
ugly places
some of the
in
worst.
yourself. It shows a lot about
It sure does.
it does. And you said some things or reacted in some ways, and some things came out of nowhere, and you're trying to figure out how did that happen.
How did that happen? Yeah.
But a relationship reveals those things. So it's just be patient with yourself.
I love it. Well, we are at the end.
Yeah.
That went fast.
Did. Listen, and we
did go pretty
I feel like
fast.
we just touched the surface. Like, we gotta have you back, man.
I know. So, is there any last words or advice or wisdom that you guys want to leave the people with for today?
We talked about
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I think that is one of the main things. There was a lot of fear in our formative years of our situationship, and that's why it was a situationship, right? You had fear. I'd say don't be afraid. Make sure you're whole. Do your homework and do the work of marriage, because there's a better way than shacking up. You don't have to do that, sis. You don't have to do that.
That's good.
That's so good.
Three things, quick.
4 things. No, I'm playing.
I would say be intentional.
Okay.
I agree with you. Said character matters. Character is huge.
Yeah.
Character matters in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
Character has no expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that always goes through. And the other thing that I wanted to emphasize is the blessing of marriage.
Yeah.
There's a blessing and anointing that only you can get by being married.
Mm-hmm.
And people are trying to siphon it and cheat the game. Y'all trying to cheat the system.
Listen, okay.
There's a blessing and an anointing under being married that is so beautiful, and I cannot imagine not doing it. I wish I was mature enough to do it earlier, but God has graced us to be in this place that we have now. So marriage is a blessing, to say the least. Don't be afraid of it.
I love it. Come on, y'all, give it up for the Oats tonight. They did that. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Just thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us. This was a lot of fun.
Always. We love you guys.
Well, you can find them, I think, on social media if you want to talk to them. Slide in their DMs. Get some marital advice. Get some dating advice. I'm sure they would love to connect with you. You can find them, like I said, I think Facebook for sure. I'm their Facebook friends. Jamie and Isaac Oats. And definitely let them know how much you enjoyed their words tonight. Thank you all again. This has been amazing. I hope everyone out there, now you know, it's a whole gnaw out here. I think we covered is it shacking up or not? It's a whole gnaw. It's a whole gnaw tonight. Okay, so no more shacking up or whatever they call it these days, and we're gonna stay on this gnaw path and see the blessings, right? Well, until next time, we thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you next time on Tea Time with Liz and Friends. All right, have a good night, everyone.
Good night.